Hello everyone, Porcelain here on Manufactured, and welcome to another episode of Sunday Sketch Talks. A little bit of a apology to start this out with. I am currently a little bit sick, so if you can hear that in my voice, I'm very sorry about it, but I'm going to record this video anyways because I want to have it out for tomorrow, and that's not going to happen if I don't record the audio now, so doing it anyways, and who knows if my voice will be worse tomorrow. I don't have any specific questions for these. I haven't been getting many questions or requests. Always feel free to ask me for requests or and leave questions for the next episodes in the comments below. But since I haven't been getting many, I decided to just sort of ramble on a topic for these videos, and I might make these videos into just single topic things in the future as well. So what I want to kind of talk about now is creativity and diversifying your creative pursuits, and sort of how I've approached that and how I've grown as an artist through it, the different things I do to continue to be creative and avoid things like creative block. Like a lot of people have trouble with things like writer's block or artist block. Almost anyone who creates artwork deals with that, and I think I've found a few strategies over the years to cope with that. And the biggest strategy is the fact that I have such a diversity of creative pursuits. Most of the creativity you guys see from me on this channel is, of course, artwork. If it's not drawing like this, then it's painting or it's sculpting. It's all visual art. However, visual art is not actually my main creative outlet. My main creative outlet is writing. I have always been a writer since I was very, very young, and although I may not share it very often, aside from, like a few kind of awful poems and short stories that are posted on DeviantArt if you want to search for them. They're a few years old, so they aren't very good, fair warning. But aside from that, I don't share my writing as often, and I think I would like to do some storytelling in the form of a video in the future, perhaps. Maybe not on this channel, maybe someplace else, but I do mainly write. So art for me is purely a hobby, and it's purely a hobby I do for fun. I do it as a method of building a skill I can use to tell stories in the future. That is why I started creating art, because visual art, because I want to tell stories with it in the future. I want the ability to visually represent what is in my mind, not just communicate it through words, because words are limited, and I've taken quite a few different language courses, and although I can speak a couple different languages, all of them are limited, and you can't always convey what you need to, and you can't always break into certain forms of storytelling if you don't have visuals. And so therefore I wanted to sort of build up a basis of visuals, and as you're seeing here, this is me working on visual artwork. This is just to talk about this piece for a minute and just break off for like 2 seconds. This is two of my characters, Cherry Bomb and Runaway. I draw them a lot because they're two characters very close to my heart. I draw them a lot as humans now, actually, even though they did start out as ponies, and my journey back into visual art actually did start out with pony art, so that's again why you're seeing this here, even though my last one was humans. But yeah, so just breaking off, just that's what you're looking at here is Cherry Bomb and Runaway. And back to the topic at hand, talk about different forms of creativity. So not only is there the visual artwork and the writing that I do, but I've always been interested in different things. And this summer over the past summer, I've been really focusing on bettering myself as an artist and on taking creative risks. So not only have I been working on things like writing a book, like finishing my video game, which still isn't finished, but that's a topic for another day. That's gotten a little bit complicated. I do intend to finish it though, I'm pretty sure, and updates for that will be on my personal channel, as they have been for the past year or so. So I've been working on bettering myself creatively, and I've taken on a few very, very different, very different avenues that I didn't expect to end up in. But one of the big things is, as I mentioned before, I took a volunteer job working at a radio station. So every Friday morning I do host a radio show with some friends of mine, and it is called the Friday Special Blend. It is on CKCU. You can find it online if you want to listen to it. It's all like back recorded there. You can go back and find the show and listen to it if you want. And mostly I've been interviewing people there, but through doing that I have met a lot of other creative people. I have gotten their insights to take on and bring back into my own life and my own pursuits, and I've also created contacts with people who are in fields that I'm interested in or doing interesting creative things. And actually through that I ended up doing a music video. I taught myself how to go-go dance, which is not something I ever thought I'd do because I am terrified of dancing in front of people. I used to take dance courses a long time ago, not in any form of dance close to this, but I did used to take them. And so I learned to do that, and I was in a music video, and that's not something I ever thought I would do in my life, but I think it's pretty cool that I ended up doing it. And so I'm just really an advocate for diversifying what you work on, and even if you are primarily only into visual art, even if that's your focus, if that's what you want to do with your life and that's the only thing you want to do with your life, even if that's the case, I highly recommend trying to learn another creative skill just to bolster that and to give you a little bit of a break from it. Because what's nice about having a couple different projects, you should never have too many projects, I don't believe, because then you just don't end up finishing any of them, and that's not what you want. But instead of having just one thing that you constantly have to be doing, which can be very draining, it's kind of nice to have 2, at most 3 things that end up as your primary focus. So how I divide my time right now is when I have free time, and it's kind of sad because I used to play video games a lot and I love video games, but I don't play them anymore because how I end up having to divide my free time is I say, okay, I have 2 hours here, I have 4 hours here, I have, an hour here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my book, or if I don't feel like writing and I'm really not in that headspace, I'm going to work on the coding for my game. Or if I can't really do that, then I'm going to work on commissions, on art pieces that I need to get done. And so those are my options. And because I have that, not every day, I can't always every day sit down and write. And it's good to force yourself to. I completely believe in forcing yourself to sit down and do whatever creative thing you have to do, even if you don't think you can. Don't wait for inspiration. You always should be working on it. That's the only way you're ever going to get it done. It doesn't matter if what you create that day isn't as good as it would be on a day when you're inspired. At least you're still practicing it and you're getting something done and you're bettering yourself for the next day. But because I am able to sit down and choose if I want to write, or if I want to code, or if I want to draw, because I have those 3 things, I am always filling that time. I am able to fill that hour, that 2-hour period, with productive work without feeling strained or stressed about it. And it generally ends up balanced for me. I feel like it would be a bad thing if, because of that, I spent a month only doing drawings during that time, or if I spent a month only doing writing during that time. That would probably be kind of a waste of that sort of a system. But for me, it seems to turn out that, often there are days when I do just feel like writing, or there are days where I do just feel like drawing, or some days I'll be drawing and then I'll be thinking about what I'm going to write and something pops into my head and I gotta go write it down. Or I'll be drawing assets for my game and I'll be like, oh, this would be a really interesting conversation or something to put in here, or oh, this is the kind of dialogue I needed here, and I'll pop over to the other thing and add that in. And I'm hoping this is all making sense to those of you who are listening. And I know a lot of you are younger, so you don't really have to worry about this yet. But advice for you if you are younger and you are just working on visual art, or just working on writing, or just working on singing, or anything like that, I do highly recommend you try and teach yourself another skill. You don't have to be good at it. I by no means think I am great at visual art. I enjoy creating it, but I really don't think I'm that good at it. And that's not like a humble brag or anything. It's just I'm at a point where I am able to communicate something visually. I am very happy I can communicate it visually, but I am definitely not, I wouldn't call myself an artist. Even though I enjoy creating art, I wouldn't call myself that. I would definitely call myself a writer, because I believe that is where my real skill set lies, but I wouldn't call myself an artist. So so yeah, even if you're not good at that secondary thing that you teach yourself, I believe that those skills will lead back into the thing that you're most interested in. And I think that it's really good to diversify what you can do. And I've probably used that word way too many times now, and I still have about 5 minutes left in this video, and I'm not sure what else to ramble about. Because yeah, this is all about creative block and fighting that. The only other thing I can really say about creative block that isn't about working on different projects is the time that you actually put into things, and the ability to force yourself to do it despite not feeling inspired or not wanting to. And this is something that nobody ever wants to hear. No artist, no writer wants to hear, oh, you're not feeling inspired today, write anyways. You're not feeling inspired today, draw anyways. But it really is helpful. It really is helpful to force yourself to work, even for, a half hour a day, on those things that you want to become better at, that you want to focus on in your life. And it's definitely helped me. I've tried a few times in the past and failed to write books. And I failed because, honestly, I wasn't pushing myself. I was thinking a lot about the things I was writing, but I never truly pushed myself to write every day. I never truly pushed myself to fill in the bits that I didn't think were interesting, because I only wanted to write the good scenes. Whereas my approach now, this year, has been to write everything in order. Even if it's not the most interesting parts of the book that I want to write, I have to wait to get to those parts, just like a reader has to wait to get to them. And that's been so much more exciting for me. And it's really motivated me to keep doing it, and I have gotten so much farther in this one than I ever have, and I honestly, truly believe I will complete this book. You guys will never, well, I can't say that you'll never read it. You might read it. I don't plan to publish it under my online name. It will be published under a different name. So you guys might never read it, but it is in the works. And I would like to do some storytelling on this channel potentially in the future. So if you guys would ever like maybe an illustrated short story or something, I could definitely write something for this channel. But I'm not sure that that's what you guys are looking for here, because this is a very strange mesh of art and thrift on this channel. And this video already feels slightly out of place, but I just kind of wanted to ramble and hang out, and I don't know, I was trying to pick topics that would really suit this art piece, because this art piece here is me illustrating the moment where Cherry introduces herself to Runaway. And if you don't know my characters, Cherry, she comes from a small town. She worked as a music teacher after graduating high school, and she comes from a small town. She moved to the big city of Manhattan to become a musician, to become a drummer and a singer. And this is after listening to one of Runaway's sets. Runaway's been living in the city for a long time. She heads over to her in this, like, it's a small bar or something, and introduces herself. and she's extremely nervous, but it kind of ends up making all the difference in her life because unknown to her at the time, she ends up, she ends up being a huge part of her life and her development as an artist. And it kind of links into my trying different things this summer and trying to link up with other artists, talk to other artists, go into different fields, try new things, because who knows how those people and those experiences will end up shaping my life. It's kind of similar to the risk that Cherry takes introducing herself to Runaway, and sometimes, trying out something new or working collaboratively with someone, it is a risk, and it can be scary, especially for newer artists, and sometimes that risk is really worth it. And so even if you don't think you're that great at something, it's okay, to communicate that to someone, and maybe they still want you to help out on their project, and take those risks, try different things, try a diversity of artistic things. If you're an artistic person, don't just stick to one thing forever. Even if that's your main thing, keep it as your main thing. Don't just stick to it forever. And yeah, go out and meet and talk to creative people, because that'll help you a ton in the future. So aside from that, I just want to thank you guys all so much for watching this video and listening to my sick rambling for a while. Leave your questions for future topics in the comments below, as well as requests, and I'll see you guys hopefully very, very soon. Alright, thank you guys all so much for watching. Keep playing by your own rules, guys. Bye!